All right, I guess we clocked in. Hey, what's going on, people? Now, I wanted to talk to you guys about spirituality, that spirituality is your inner values. Because when we're dealing with spirituality, what you're truly dealing with is the value of who you are in the inside and not what you do on the outside. This is why spirituality is not behavior based, meaning our action derives from the value of the divinity that we have inside of us. In fact, that is the meaning. If you read the Bible, or if you know anything about the fruit of the Spirit, which is joy, happiness, and all that good, and all those good things, it derives from the Spirit, which is the value that you have from the inside. Whereas what we call religion today, and I do say religion today because the true meaning of religion is the manifestation of the divine on the outside. Meaning the very essence of this message that I'm talking to you now is for you to acknowledge the divinity in you and how it's manifested on the outside. And that's why for me, I'm a true religious person, but not in a religious sense of what it is today, which is behavior based. You don't want to burn in hell, then you behave a certain way. If you're a Christian, you need to act a certain way. And that acting a certain way, that is also what we refer to as acting from the flesh. This is all the lies. This is why a lot of these people are fake, because they're behavior based. They act a certain way in front of people, but in reality, this is not who they are. So the whole aspect, their whole understanding of being born again, it's not them becoming a different person. Yes, it is also it's behavior based, meaning I used to go to party, I don't party anymore. Whereas for us, if we choose not to party anymore, it's because of our inner values. Does that make any sense? It comes from the inside. That's why it's not a behavior based. Us living ethically, it's not just so we get other people's validation, but it's because it truly derives from who we are. This is why a true spiritual person, we don't talk about ethics because we're too busy being that. We understand to do, you have to be. So as a result, this is why religion today is very fake. It's behavior based. It's fear based, because now you don't want to burn in hell. You joining this sector. That's why ultimately, when it comes to religion, it's really comes down to them controlling your behavior. So in so many words, ironically, it's putting you into bondage instead of setting you free. When you act based on who you are, it comes from the heart. It comes from who you are. It's setting you free. You're not afraid. In spirituality, we're not afraid of going to hell. In fact, the concept of hell don't even exist for us. The true hell pretty much is when you don't know who you are. It's you living by your flesh. It's you lusting, not necessarily just in a sense of on a sexual level, but lusting because now your action, it's just behavior based. That's what it's physical. So you being born again has nothing to do with now you tapping into your spiritual aspect. That's why a lot of these people, they claim to be born again, but psychologically they are the same person. Whereas what we're talking about in being spiritual, we're talking about you now being born of the Spirit. You truly become a new person because now you're not looking at things from a physical perspective, but it becomes more on a spiritual perspective. So to be spiritual, it's really, you now valuing, it's you, valuing who you are in the inside, and it's not what you do on the outside. And again, ironically, they talk about, with Jesus you find life, but it's really what they're doing. It's really it's material bondage. It's fear-based. is behavior based. You know, whereas in spirituality, you know, it's all about freeing yourself, free your mind. We're not afraid of death. We do the right thing because we are activated, because it is the right thing to do. Not because, you know, to behave a certain way for me not to burn in hell. All right? Haitien, bravo, Mali.